Two snowstorms are lining up to hit the eastern half of the country back-to-back this week, and the wind chills behind them could drop to 45 below zero by Sunday morning. The Appalachians might pick up over a foot of snow. Meanwhile, the West Coast is sitting 35 degrees above normal like it's the middle of April out there. What I want to walk you through today is how these storms are coming together, what the models just showed overnight, and why winter might stick around all the way into March. Drop your city in the comments because I've got forecasts for over 80 cities and I want to make sure you see yours before this video is over. All right, so right off the bat, snow is already flying across Illinois, Indiana, southern Ohio, and northern Kentucky as we speak. Winter weather advisories are up in purple from southeast Indiana through southern Ohio, northern Kentucky, into central and northern West Virginia, even far western Maryland. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. The first round is not a blockbuster. We're talking 1 to 3 inches for most folks, but that's plenty to make roads slick. Underneath all that snow, showers and rain are pushing through Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama. Thunderstorms are even possible near coastal Texas, around Houston, into the bayou country of Louisiana. Baton Rouge and Lafayette could see a few rumbles tonight. As we head into the overnight hours, that snowfall pushes east through Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, and starts clipping Maryland, D.C., Delaware, and southern Jersey. You'd think that's the end of it, right? That's what the models showed yesterday. But get this, it's actually a 1-2 punch. All this leftover energy sitting in the southeast fires back up Wednesday evening, right along the Virginia and North Carolina border. That's punch number 2. The thing is, Arctic air is working its way in at the exact same time. So what starts as rain down in the Carolinas switches over to a mix and then eventually all snow. That rain to snow flip can be tricky. Sometimes it struggles to pile up, but the overnight timing with that cold air flooding in honestly helps quite a bit. High-res models are showing 12 straight hours of snowfall for parts of Virginia from about 5 p.m. Wednesday all the way to 5 a.m. Thursday. 12 hours doesn't have to be super heavy to add up. And with snow still on the ground from the last system, especially in shady spots, the new stuff sticks right to it. Totals from this second wave, generally 1 to 3 inches, but the high-res model shows a couple of streaks pushing 2 to 4 for parts of Virginia and North Carolina. Northern, central, and northeast North Carolina, along with south central and southeast Virginia. Those spots are in the crosshairs for the heavier amounts. Any of y'all in that zone right now? Drop it in the comments because honestly, this one could surprise people with how much it puts down. Wednesday afternoon through the evening commute could get pretty treacherous down in North Carolina and southern Virginia, so give yourself extra time on that drive. Further south, more unsettled weather rolling through the southeast. Snow for southern West Virginia, eastern Tennessee up near the Smokies. There is still some wiggle room in the track. Could nudge a little north, could nudge a little south, but this looks like a system for somebody, and we're keeping a close eye on it. All right, so that covers the midweek punch. I want to get into what's lining up for the end of the week because this is where things really step up a notch. A clipper system dives southeast out of Canada, and I tell you what, this one's got real teeth behind it, bringing snow into Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan by Thursday morning. By Friday morning, a stronger push of snow sweeps through Michigan, Ohio, and the Great Lakes. And that's riding the leading edge of some seriously cold Arctic air. Through Friday, we're looking at a few inches for the Great Lakes, eastern Ohio Valley, into the northeast New England, and the mid-Atlantic. The Appalachians, though, this is where it gets impressive. Higher elevations in West Virginia could potentially see double-digit snowfall. We're talking over a foot of snow. Lower elevations are more of a 2 to 4 inch situation, but the mountains are going to get hammered, no question about it. On top of all that snow, the wind behind this system is nothing to mess with. Gust potentially over 40 miles per hour on Saturday, blasting through the northeast. Coastal areas of the mid-Atlantic and northeast could briefly see gusts touching 50, so wind advisories or high wind watches will probably go up. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. Let me slow down for a second because the wind chill timeline for this weekend is honestly the part that concerns me the most. Friday morning, 10 to 20 below zero wind chills already showing up in the northeast. By Friday afternoon, those bounce back into the teens above zero. So there's a little relief there. Saturday morning, though, 30 below, hitting parts of Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. 10 to 15 below, even down into the Appalachians through West Virginia. Good grief. And it doesn't let up. Saturday afternoon, still setting at 20 to 25 below in New York State and Pennsylvania. Sunday morning is the peak. Widespread wind chills between 25 and 45 below zero, blanketing the entire Northeast. Frostbite on exposed skin in under 15 minutes. That's going to make it one of the coldest Super Bowl Sundays in recent memory for the eastern quarter of the country. 25 to 40 degrees below where you'd normally be. So the question is, when does this break? I've actually got some good news on that. So stick with me here. Real quick on the big picture, because once you see how this pattern is set up, the whole forecast for the next several weeks kind of clicks into place. Out west, a massive ridge of high pressure is pumping warm Pacific air in. The west coast is running well above normal. It's basically spring out there right now. That ridge forces Arctic air to funnel straight down over the eastern half of the country. And that's exactly why we keep getting storm after storm after storm. Around the 9th through the 15th, that ridge shifts east of the Rockies, and the whole temperature picture flips on its head. Above normal temps sweep all the way up the plains from northern Mexico to the southern prairies of Canada. The Arctic air retreats back towards Asia and the Arctic Circle. Even the Northeast, which will still feel the chill early that week, starts warming up noticeably. You'll see oranges building in on the maps by late next week. I'll be real with you. After staring at blue and purple maps every single morning, a little orange sounds pretty darn good right about now, you know? That warm-up is real. Both the European model and the GFS agree on it. But it's not a total torch, more of a back and forth between above and below normal after the 10th. What gets interesting is around the 15th and 16th. Both major models are sniffing out a significant storm system developing off the Rockies and pushing into the Midwest. Confidence is still low on the details that far out, but the signal has been showing up run after run, and that's worth paying attention to. Can you believe we might be talking severe weather and blizzard potential in the same breath? Marginal severe is on the table down through the southern plains and Dixie Alley. Gusty winds, small hail, and if conditions come together just right, maybe even an isolated tornado in that mid-February window. Wild stuff for this time of year. For those of y'all thinking spring is right around the corner, not so fast. The teleconnections are pointing to another round of cold settling in during the third week of February. Cold air starts spilling into the Pacific Northwest, Southwest, California, Nevada, the Four Corners. Then it oozes east across the Mississippi by late month. February 16th through the 23rd, a big snow system could develop for the Midwest, Great Lakes, and the Northeast, and that one's been on the radar for a couple weeks now. Late February into early March, winter comes back in a big way. Cold, diving into the PNW, Colorado lows developing and tracking east, heavier snow on the cold side of those systems. Even southern states like Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Tennessee, and the Carolinas could see snow chances as that cold pushes further south. Winter potentially sticking around right through the spring equinox on March 20th, so do not put those shovels away just yet. Mark my words on that one. Okay, let's get into your cities, because I know that's what a lot of you folks came here for, starting with the areas in the thick of it today. Ground zero is the Ohio Valley, Cincinnati looking at 1 to 4 inches, with a high around 35. Columbus sitting at 32 with 2 to 5 inches possible. Roads are going to be a mess. Cleveland at 30 with 2 to 5 inches and ice. Toledo, same deal at 30. These Great Lakes cities always have a way of over-delivering on the snow totals. Indianapolis at 32 with 1 to 4 inches. Fort Wayne at 30. Louisville right on that rain-snow line at 38. And Lexington at 38 with a mix. If you're anywhere in the Ohio Valley tonight, give yourself extra time and just take it slow. Black ice is going to be a real concern after dark. Charleston, West Virginia, sitting right in the bullseye for some of the heaviest snow today. Higher elevations in that state could really pile up over the next 48 hours. Shifting to the northeast, New York City at 35 with 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. That covers all 5 boroughs. Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, same deal. Boston at 32 with 1 to 3 inches. Philly at 35 with a wintry mix. D.C. at 35. Baltimore at 35. The whole corridor is getting clipped on this one. Newark and Jersey City both at 35 with 1 to 3. Pittsburgh at 32 with 2 to 4. And ice, those Steel City roads are going to be rough. Virginia Beach at 40 with possible light snow. Raleigh at 42 with light snow and ice in that second wave window Wednesday night. Durham at 42. Greensboro at 40. Charlotte sitting at 40, just cool enough to make things interesting. Those North Carolina Triad and Piedmont cities need to keep one eye on that Wednesday evening punch. Take a breath, y'all. We're about halfway through the cities. How we doing down there in the comments? Let me know if I'm going too fast. Midwest time, Chicago at 30 with 1 to 4 inches in wind. Detroit at 30 with snow and ice. Milwaukee at 28 with 2 to 5. It's just raw and miserable out there. Minneapolis and St. Paul both at 25, low of 10 with 1 to 4 inches of snow and wind chills in the single digits. Straight up brutal in the Twin Cities. Kansas City at 35 with 1 to 3. Omaha at 30 with snow. St. Louis at 35. Wichita at 38. The whole heartland is feeling this thing. Check this out, though. OKC at 50 and Minneapolis at 25. Those two cities are 800 miles apart. And there's a 25-degree gap sitting between them. That sharp temperature boundary is exactly where all the storm action fires up. Warm air on one side, frozen on the other, and the atmosphere goes haywire right along that line. Down south, Atlanta at 50, Nashville at 45, Memphis at 48. The Southeast is mostly catching a break from the heavy stuff, but don't get too comfortable just yet. Florida, though? Honestly, y'all are living your best life this week. Miami at 72, Tampa at 68, Orlando at 70, Jacksonville at 60. Good for you. I mean that sincerely. Quick note on Jacksonville, overnight lows could dip near 40. Not terrible, but cover the plants if you've got anything sensitive out there. Texas looking solid. Houston at 55, Dallas at 55, San Antonio and Austin both around 58, Fort Worth at 55, El Paso at 58, mostly clearing out. New Orleans at 58, Corpus Christi at 60, Laredo at 62. Gulf Coast is warm and dry. Enjoy it because that mid-February pattern change could shake things up a bit. Speaking of the West, this is where it gets kind of ridiculous. LA at 65, San Diego at 62, Phoenix at 65, Tucson at 62, Las Vegas at 55. San Francisco at 58, San Jose at 60, Sacramento at 60. The whole West Coast is just out there vibing, running way above normal. Must be nice, right? Enjoy it while it lasts, though, because a trough develops out west in week 3, and cold air starts pouring into the PNW, Southwest, and Four Corners. That free ride ends around mid to late February. The exact areas that have been warm all winter are about to flip. And honestly, that's going to be a serious wake-up call out west. Seattle at 45 with rain this weekend, Portland at 45. The Cascades could pick up a couple feet of mountain snow and 1 to 2 inches of rainfall along the coastal sections. Denver at 40 with possible light snow, Colorado Springs at 38, Albuquerque at 48, Anchorage at 20 doing its Alaska thing, and Honolulu at 78 just living the dream. All right, I want to circle back to the cold because the safety piece on what's coming this weekend is really the most important part of this whole video. Saturday is the main event, 25 to 40 degrees below normal, hammering the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. This is near historic territory, folks. If you've got elderly neighbors, relatives living alone, anyone who might not have great heat, this is the weekend to pick up the phone and check in. It genuinely matters. So how long does this cold hang around? Good news, a real warm-up kicks in after the 10th. We're talking a 25 to 40 degree swing from the worst of it. After what we've been through, shoot, just getting back to normal temps is going to feel like a heat wave compared to this. Safety stuff real quick, because this genuinely matters more than any number I just gave you, so listen up. Generators outside, away from windows, no exceptions. Carbon monoxide is invisible, and it takes lives every single winter. Don't take that chance. Pets inside? If it's too cold for you to stand out there for 10 minutes, it's way too cold for them. No debate on that one. Bring them in. If you live near creeks or streams or low-lying areas out in the Pacific Northwest, make sure those drains are clear because that weekend rainfall is going to pile up fast. All right, wrapping it up. 4 things on my radar, and I want you to write these down. Number 1, today's 1-2 punch across the Ohio Valley tonight. Then the second wave fires up Wednesday evening in Virginia and North Carolina. Number 2, the Clipper diving out of Canada Thursday into Friday with heavier snow for the Great Lakes and potentially a foot plus in the Appalachian Mountains. Number 3, the weekend Arctic blast with dangerous wind chills. One of the coldest Super Bowl Sundays the eastern U.S. has seen in a long time. Number 4, the mid-February pattern flip. Both models showing a significant storm developing around the 15th to 16th off the Rockies, and winter potentially running all the way into March. What keeps me up at night on this one, if that mid-February system tracks further east than what we're seeing right now, the I-95 corridor could be looking at a major nor'easter. The GFS is already hinting at it. In the extended range, the Euro doesn't show it yet. So confidence is low, but the potential is there, and it's worth keeping an eye on. If this helped you out, go ahead and hit that like button. It honestly makes a big difference getting this in front of more people when weather gets dangerous like this. What region should I go deeper on tomorrow? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll spend extra time on whatever areas you folks need the most. If you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. February is shaping up to be a wild ride, and you do not want to get caught off guard. Stay warm, stay safe, hang in there through this weekend because warmer days are coming. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Appreciate every one of you. Take care of yourselves and each other out there. Y'all have a good one.